Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing some shout outs for nonfiction booktubers since we're in Nonfiction November. I have a ton of channels that I watch that talk about really interesting nonfiction, but I've chosen just a handful today of people who I really like their recommendations for nonfiction and find myself constantly adding those to my TBR, but there are a ton of other great nonfiction booktubers out there, including the hosts of Nonfiction November. I didn't include any of them here because I figured you'd already heard of them, but I will link all of the information about Nonfiction November below. Some of the hosts are just absolute favorites of mine and I get a ton of recommendations from them, so I hope that you'll check them out as well. So for today, what I'm going to do is talk about the booktubers that I get a lot of nonfiction recommendations from, and also recommend a video of theirs to check out if you want to see if that's the kind of recommendation that you would like. So first, I want to shout out Kazen at Always Doing. I love Kazen's channel so much, and I think what makes her channel really interesting in terms of her nonfiction recommendations is that she reads a lot of medical nonfiction. She's a medical interpreter in Japan, and she has a lot of background in kind of understanding what goes on in the healthcare industry. So I love seeing her reviews of medical nonfiction. She has a review of When We Do Harm by Danielle Ofri that I think is particularly good. So I'm going to link that below. And I think that one of the things I really like about Kazen's channel is not just all of that knowledge that she brings when talking about medical nonfiction, but also her passion for social justice, because often those two intersect. So it's really interesting to hear the way that she analyzes these. She reads a ton of nonfiction about social justice as well, which often makes it onto my TBR, and so many other things. Kazen likes a lot of different stuff, lots of backlist stuff, lots of new things. She reads a ton of romance, so she's got a lot to offer on her channel. Next, I'd like to shout out Priscilla at Bookie Charm. Priscilla is somebody who reads a lot of memoirs. I really am interested in reading all of the memoirs that she talks about because they sound so fascinating. I'm going to link a review that she did of In the Dream House by Carmen Machado. And I think that one of the things that Priscilla does that's really great is she's very analytical and very thoughtful in the way that she reviews different books. She also has a big focus on Latinx authors because she's one of the hosts of the Latinx-a-thon. So I really like that kind of emphasis she has on making sure that she reviews a lot of Latinx books. And she reads a ton of other things as well. She's very focused on social justice, so there's a lot of that happens on her reviews that makes it its way onto my TBR. But she reads so many other things. She reads romance, she reads SFF, and she reads a lot of children's picture books too, which really influences my TBR. Next, I'd like to recommend Cynthia at BookWhimsy. Cynthia is awesome because she reads a lot of historical nonfiction because she's a historian. So it's awesome to hear her takes and her analysis of these history books. She also reads some history books that are really popular. For example, I'm going to link below her review of The Five by Hallie Rubenhold, which was very popular, but she also reads tons of things that are more academic or that you've maybe never heard of. So it's so great to see the range of historical nonfiction that she reads and the take that she has on it, especially because her specific area of expertise is focusing a lot on like women's rights and sexuality and on like France at the turn of the century, I think, maybe a little after. And it's just so fascinating to hear what she has to say. She also reads very widely. She reads a ton of different things, lots of SFF, lots of romance, lots of mystery. So there's a ton of different things on her channel, but because she is a historian, I really value any insights that she has into historical nonfiction, and I add so many things to my TBR that I never would have heard of. Next, I'd like to shout out Justin at Ghost Reader. I think one of the cool things about Justin's channel is that he reads so many new release nonfictions. He gets a ton of ARCs or advanced reader copies and reviews them in these beautiful 5 to 10 minute long reviews that make me want to ask my library to order a copy. So for example, I'm going to link below his review of Whiter by Nikki Khanna, which is all about kind of, colorism and skin whitening. I think that Justin does such a good job of convincing me that I need to try so many different books that I've never heard of. They're brand new. I don't follow kind of new releases in nonfiction, but through Justin, I kind of do. And I ask my library to order a ton of these books. He reads a lot of different types of nonfiction, but I think he's especially focused on a lot of things that are happening in the world. So a lot of history, a lot of issues of politics or government or economy or social justice. He reads so widely though, but really the key thing is he is my go-to person for new releases. And lastly, I'd like to shout out Rachel at Kalanadi. Now, you may be more familiar with Rachel's channel because she reads a lot of SFF. She reads very widely and deeply in SFF, so that's kind of the big emphasis of her channel, but I actually get so many recommendations for nonfiction from her channel. She reads especially a lot of nonfiction that is centered on science and nature and language, as well as nonfiction about the SFF genre. She reads so many fascinating books, and I love to hear what she's reading and what her takes on it are. I'm going to link below a wrap-up she did of Nonfiction November last year. She doesn't tend to do as many standalone reviews for nonfiction, but nonfiction works are peppered throughout every wrap-up that she does because she reads so much of it. I think that she has especially a real focus on environment and on understanding animals and plants and kind of ecology, things like that. So it's really, really cool to see all the different books that she reads and which ones she likes and doesn't like. And especially because so many of my interests align with hers, I get just so many recommendations for nonfiction from her channel. Okay, so those are just a handful of some of my favorite booktubers who read nonfiction that really influence my TBR because I love what they read and their opinions, and they just always convince me that I need to read those books too. If you guys are not already subscribed to them, I hope that you'll check out their channels. They are really, really excellent. They have such great things to say. And if you guys have any thoughts, any comments, or any recommendations of channels that I should check out, please just leave me a comment down below.